This is going to be your guide for catching legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now, you will do this in the Ultra Warp Ride, so why are we on Route 2 right now? Well, that is to get yourself a legendary catching Pokemon if you do not already have one. That there are going to be a few things that are crucial to making your experience catching legendary Pokemon as quick and painless as possible. So what you might do is get yourself a Breloom. That people that played through Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire probably already have a high-level Breloom that is used for catching legendary Pokemon. And the reason why Breloom is so good is because it can have Spore and False Swipe. So Spore's a move that has a 100% chance to put the opponent to sleep, and then False Swipe, as many of you guys may know, will always leave the opponent's hit points at 1, even when already at 1 hit point. So they're left at 1 hit points, so that means with a Pokemon like Breloom, you have a 1 hit point Pokemon that is asleep and is easy to catch as possible. Now, to obtain False Swipe, you actually pretty much get it during the storyline. Talk to Kukui after beating Hala, and he gives you False Swipe. However, there is a pretty big problem with Breloom. You cannot find it in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, or even Pokemon Sun and Moon. You'll either have to have someone trade one to you, or you'll need to Pokemon Bank from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So Smeargle is going to be the best bet that everyone can use inside the game. So what you do is you teach your Pokemon False Swipe, and also you can catch a Morello, which knows Spore, and then that's how you get Smeargle to learn these moves. So for Spore, it's actually pretty easy. You just use Spore on Smeargle, and then you just keep spamming the move until it eventually wakes up and then uses Sketch, which will then trace the Spore. So let's go and watch that happen. Smeargle wakes up, uses Sketch, then it gets to Sketch the Spore, and now what you can do is just straight up catch that Smeargle, unless you already have a Smeargle with Spore or another move. After that, you want to leave the encounter, go to the move relearner, have Smeargle relearn Sketch, so that means you should be going into the next Smeargle battle with a Sketch and then a Spore already on your Smeargle, and then you just do the same with False Swipe. You False Swipe, Smeargle sketches it, you then switch into your Smeargle to sketch the False Swipe that the Smeargle will use, and now you have a Spore, False Swipe, Smeargle, and then it will need some offensive moves to take on legendary Pokemon, but that will be how you can get a legendary catching beast. Now, it isn't mandatory to do all of that to catch legendary Pokemon, but it is strongly recommended if you're going to go on a massive legendary Pokemon rampage. So what you need to do is fly to Pony Island, go to the Altar of the Moon, return to the Ultra Wormhole, and this is how you start your legendary journey. So depending on which wormhole you enter will also affect the odds of encountering a legendary Pokemon. Also, the different zones of wormholes have different legendary Pokemon that can be encountered. So if you're looking for a specific legendary Pokemon, you will need to target that specific color of wormhole. And that's like the crazy thing. There's a lot of RNG, so it's not like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in that you knew exactly where to go, and that's how you obtain the legendary Pokemon. But it also does have some similar mechanics. That unfortunately, there's also no guaranteed shiny legendary Pokemon. That's not like for the other wormholes for normal Pokemon, that there will always be a shiny Pokemon if that Pokemon is shiny. With this, you do have to soft reset it at the standard soft resetting odds, and it can help to get a shiny charm. So you could be there for a while if you're going for a shiny legendary Pokemon. Also, another thing that works is that you can use Synchronize. So synchronizing the Ultra Wormholes is also kind of weird because you don't know the legendary Pokemon that you get until you go inside of the wormhole. Once again, that's the RNG. So it helps to trade synchronized Pokemon from one game to another while you're in that Ultra Space, and then you can use that to synchronize for the legendary that you're looking for if you're going for it competitively. Other than that, we're just looking for different kinds of rings. So as you might have noticed through the tutorial, there are 4 stages of wormholes. We have normal, we have 1 ring, 2 ring, and then we have this super crazy looking one, and that's the one that you're looking for. It has a guaranteed legendary Pokemon inside of it, but it is also very rare, and you can only start finding it after several thousand light years have passed. But you can still find legendary Pokemon inside the 1 and 2 rings as well. I believe even like no rings, just very low odds. That's something to pay attention to. There it is. Hey, look at that. Boom. Legendary Pokemon right there. So let's go in and see which one we've got. Also at that point, it's like, okay, it's recommended that you save for soft resetting. And yeah, see, you sense a presence that exudes its overwhelming power. So you'll know that you've found a legendary Pokemon when you get that little chat bar as you enter into a wormhole. So let's go and see which one. Oh, hey, straight up Mewtwo. Not bad. So you can do this from a couple of different ways. Like, you just catch legendary Pokemon to have them, or you could also get super serious and go for like Synchronize and try to get them in the most optimal way possible. But as you can see, they're all level 60. So all the Pokemon that you encounter in the Ultra Wormhole will be level 60, which means you need to level up your Smeargle and Breloom to pretty high levels to have the best success. I guess I'm just going to yellow it and throw a quick ball. So I recommend that. The Quick Ball has such a high catch rate that on the first turn, you have a catch rate of ×5, that even a legendary Pokemon has a pretty respectable chance, even though small, to be caught instantly. Now, it didn't happen, but this is where, depending on like the Pokemon that you have and how durable they are, you just come in and then use your Spore, false swipe them down, or false swipe them then Spore because they could wake up, and then you just kind of keep them asleep, and then you try to maximize those odds. Now, you don't even need these Pokemon, but like I said, it does help if you're farming them. You just take like any really strong Pokemon. Like I have a level 100 Lunala. Use Psychic on the Mewtwo. It's resisted, so it shouldn't faint the Mewtwo, so if you just use powerful enough attacks, you can get a Pokemon down to a pretty low level. False Swipe just helps guarantee that it'll be at 1 hit points for the highest capture rate, but I mean, you don't need that. You can just go into that, and then I have Hypnosis on my Lunala as well. Not 100% accurate, not the most efficient, but it'll still be pretty decent chance at catching it. So yeah, we'll just do like Yellow Bar, Mewtwo, go into the Hypnosis, and then you just catch it with an Ultra Ball. So it is recommended to stock up on various Pokeballs. A Timer Ball can be very good if you don't care how long it takes. You know, you're doing this at lunch break at work, you're doing this on the bus to or from school. You just take your time, or you're just like watching a movie in the background. Like if you're not going for the most optimal, quickest time ever, Timer Ball could help because if you just stall out enough turns by using healing items or just kind of whittle the opponent away with very low moves or just try to keep it status or something, you can just have time pass through a Timer Ball for enhanced odds as well. But let's see, are we really going to get it that easily? Okay, good. I was about to say, if he broke out there, that would have been ridiculous. So as you can see, the odds are kind of all over the place, and it could be pretty good or pretty bad. But since I'm not like keeping this catch, I'm just going to soft reset afterwards. And that's pretty much it. It's just your standard legendary stuff that you catch a Pokemon. Sometimes it's hard, but we've done it through the story a million times before. So eventually you can end up with it. But this is mostly just for getting competitive legendary Pokemon, since they are going to be in a pretty determined way to obtain. So as you can see right here, this is going to be the Ultra Wormhole chance, that once you've gone 2,500 light years, you have a 1% chance of getting the shiny Wormhole, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And honestly, it's not that bad, because as you're going from tier 1 to tier 2, or this 1% to 2%, light years are passing. You're passing through multiple portals, so you'll have like 3 or 4 chances from 1, 2%, 2 to 3, 4 to 5. So by the time you've made it to 4 or 5,000 light years, you've pretty much got a legendary Pokemon waiting for you at some point, unless you just have bad luck. As for the legendary Pokemon that you will encounter, again, you can just kind of take the chance and go into a 2-ring portal of a Wormhole that you're targeting, or you can just kind of wait and go for a legendary Pokemon if you're not discriminating at all. So in the blue Wormhole, we have Lugia, Latios, Kyogre in Ultra Moon. Latios will be in Ultra Sun, and as you can see, like some Wormholes are going to have higher chance. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Sun Pokemon compared to 2 Moon Pokemon. It seems that they're more aesthetically doing it to the theme instead of the actual Pokemon that you're encountering, and also it being super balanced and whatnot. So that's also something to take into consideration, that there are exclusive legendary Pokemon depending on the game that you have. So you will need both Sun and Moon version to catch all the legendary Pokemon, and you will need legendary Pokemon from either game to encounter both as well. So as you can see right here, Suicune requires Entei and Raikou. So you need to have Entei and Raikou in your party, and then you have to go into the blue Wormhole. So then you have to go into the green Wormhole, get Entei, Raikou, go into the blue Wormhole, get Suicune. So it can be quite a chore compared to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but it doesn't take a lot of time. You just go through the Ultra Wormhole for a couple minutes, and then the Pokemon can appear, and if you're already set up, it shouldn't be that hard of a battle, and then this is kind of what you're looking for. So, in the green Wormhole, we have Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, and Mewtwo. These are not game exclusive, but then we do have the game exclusives with Raikou, Entei, Dialga, Reshiram, Zekrom, Xerneas. And another thing that you can kind of take note of is that it's really well themed. So a place like the red Ultra Wormhole will have flying type Pokemon. Now it's a little weird for blue because like Lugia is there as well as Lake Spirits, but it is themed. You know, Lugia lives underwater, the Lake Spirits, those are lake themed, and then we also have Suicune, just a water type Pokemon. Red Wormhole gives you all kinds of flying Pokemon, so all the legendary birds will be available, as well as Cresselia, so the game doesn't really matter. For Rayquaza, you will need Kyogre and Groudon, and then Landorus, you will need Tornadus and Thundurus, but you get those all in the red ones. And then the yellow Wormhole has Regirock, Regice, Registeel, Groudon, Palkia, Heatran, Regigigas, and Giratina. So, I mean, that's kind of it. Like, it's an awkward thing, but it also makes sense, and it's not too difficult in the end. I think that maybe Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Game Freak might have realized that was a little too easy, a little too free, so they wanted to make us earn it. These are legendary Pokemon. They're supposed to be rare and desirable Pokemon, so you have to work a little harder for them, and then, again, you can just soft reset them for shinies. And then the last thing to note is some people might just be saying, well, screw it, I'm just going to go back to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire because this seems a little too complicated and it might take a lot longer. Well, there is the last little bit to this, and that's that you cannot use legendary Pokemon in VGC that have not been obtained inside the 7th generation. So the 7th generation plus symbol, that can only be found on these legendaries, and you can't use anything from the Pokemon Bank. But that doesn't mean all of them, because Lugia, Ho-Oh, the box legendaries, those are going to be banned in VGC 2018. However, it means that you can still get the other legendaries, such as Suicune, Uxie, Mesprit. These guys are always allowed. And then a lot of people, they're going to have their eye on the Landorus. So that's also where it gets kind of weird to stack all that. Need to get Tornadus, Thundurus, go for the Landorus, unlock everything, capture the Pokemon, and it's still going to be a little bit of a struggle, but there is some reward that just makes it to where this has use. And also just kind of having the Pokemon in a modern game. Don't have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. If these are like your first Pokemon games, at least there's something 7th generation that actually requires work. I feel like the Pokemon community, they've been acting a lot more spoiled and entitled lately. It just kind of shows that, hey, you gotta get good at something. You gotta grind dozens of hours if you actually want all of the legendary Pokemon, which honestly seems very fair when you think about it. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.